So right now I'm hiking between Rwanda and Uganda in the rural parts of northern Rwanda. And while I do this, my cleaning business is running entirely without me. We're still getting bookings, customers are getting taken care of, we're still doing marketing, and I've been doing this intentionally. I've been traveling the world for about 10 years now and having my local cleaning company in LA run completely autonomously. I still check in and things like that, but things run fully remote. My name is Neil. I run a fully remote cleaning franchise called Made This. We have about 40 locations around the US. Today I'm going to explain exactly how I'm able to run my local LA business from around the world and exactly what systems I use for it. Now let me answer the first big question most people have, which is, well, what about the cleaners? Where are they going to report to? The way it works is cleaners go straight from their home to the job site. If you think about it, a lot of old school companies have them report to a single spot just to pick up supplies, maybe transportation, things like that. You can do that, but it's not always necessary. Now, cleaners will provide their own supplies. Now, this depends if you're running an independent contractor model, in which case contractor is liable for their own supplies, or if you're running an employee model. Now, if you're running an employee model, it's still pretty much the same thing because it's called a remote employee model. Cleaners will go from their home to the job site, and they will get their own supplies and you reimburse them for the supplies. So this eliminates the need for an office space, vehicles, all that kind of stuff, because cleaners are in charge of their own supplies. That's how it works with the contractor model too, is you can't provide them supplies. That eliminates that entire hassle. Next up is utilizing global talent to service your local location. So my team is across about 7 different countries right now. We have a lot of teams in Venezuela, in Honduras, in South Africa. And when calls come in for the company from customers or cleaners, they route to that team. Historically, you would need like an office space and someone to pick up and a receptionist. You don't need that anymore. There's access to global talent, which work twice as hard at a fraction of the cost as domestic talent. And for example, a lot of calls go straight to my team in South Africa. Now, South Africans have an awesome accent, which sounds kind of like British. And because of that, they pick up the calls. Americans love that, and they close the bookings. Bookings are done, and then my Latin American-based team, who connect with the cleaners, talk to the cleaners, dispatch them, coordinate with them, all that kind of good stuff. This all happens through an online text platform and system. As long as I have access to like VoIP, which I'll get to later, which is a phone system, all of this can be done completely remotely. Now let's get into the tech stack. What is it that people are actually looking for in the tech stack? Now, the main core pieces is you need a CRM. That's going to be something like Launch 27 or ConvertLab or ZenMaids. These are systems you use to actually manage the bookings. If a call comes in, my team in South Africa picks up, they book it in the software system. That same software system, that's where the cleaners live. That's where they're getting jobs and bookings and managing everything that way. So they're getting the phone call, first of all, through what's called a VoIP system, which is voice over IP. Just phone on the internet is pretty much what it is. There's a bunch of solutions for this. There's Quo or OpenPhone, there's Dialpad, there's RingCentral. Any of them work, to be honest. You just get this set up. And on the back end, you're only going to accept payments via credit card. So most of these software systems will hook into something called Stripe. Stripe is a credit card processing platform, and that's where you're going to take the bookings and charge the customer's credit card. You're not going to do checks, you're not going to do cash. It's credit card only. All right, now when it comes to marketing, many times people think, oh, because it's remote, you have to do all the digital, which I think is false. When you first start your business, I do recommend you being local. For all of our franchisees, we have them in their local market because that first year is critical to build up relationships. Most people are joining community marketing groups, which would be like BNI, Chamber of Commerce. They'll do apartment complex drop-offs. They'll make relationships with businesses. All these kind of things help. Now, after a while, when that inertia starts moving and things start flowing, you don't need to be local as much. So I always say do a combo of digital as well as offline marketing in that first year, and eventually you could shift mostly entirely to digital. Now on the digital spectrum, I have a whole video of the top best marketing tactics which are working right now, but think where people are searching for cleaning. Still Google, maybe ChatGPT, but mostly still Google for 99% of the traffic. So what you're gonna do is get Google local service ads. Start running, you're gonna set up a Google business profile. That's to get your place listed on the map pack. Then you might start running meta ads and Google ad vendors. If you have some good vendors who can do it for you. The franchise system, we provide a lot of this for franchisees, but for yourself, that's the main places to start. Marketing's largely gonna be digital. And then again, your team around the country or around the world are gonna pick up the calls eventually. They're gonna dispatch the cleaners, all that kind of good stuff remotely. Now, this last part's kind of the hardest. It's called forced unavailability. Now, I do this sporadically, not even by intention, just because I'm traveling, is I can't talk to my team consistently. Because of that, they learn not to depend only on me, right? They build their own systems, they figure out the solution without asking me. Beginning, I was always available. I'd be like on my phone in the middle of nowhere, trying to get Wi-Fi signal to text them. Eventually, you build enough systems because you literally are not going to be available, right? I don't mean for like 40 hours a week you're not available, but they can't ping you and get an answer ASAP. And many times, I think that's good. You build them the SOPs, the systems, the processes, so they could run the business by themselves. But the problem problem is a lot of business owners don't get there. They're the bottleneck. They want to hold all the decisions, so the team never learns to be autonomous, which sucks. That means they actually never have an asset. They just have a job. And the key is building out systems. So we use Notion and Loom. So within a Notion board, we write all the SOPs, all the processes, all the kind of stuff. Whenever the team needs help, they just reference Notion board. We've loaded this into like a custom chat GPT where they can message for answers, things like that. I still check in with my team. I have one-on-one calls with them. I have weekly group calls, all that kind of good stuff. But the key is to be strategically unavailable to let them have more autonomy. Now, I want to be clear, this doesn't mean I don't work. It just means my time to be spent as I want. So right now I'm wandering around the hills in Rwanda exploring, and at nighttime, when the schedule changes, I'll go back to working, meeting with the team, all the kind of good stuff. But the truth is, if you think about this business model, nothing really needs to be done in person besides local marketing at the beginning. You can just go from their home to the job site, they provide their supplies, you compensate them for it, calls get routed to your team overseas, internet's everywhere, tech is everywhere. You really don't need to be local anymore. And that's the beauty of these type of lower ticket, high recurring business models. Cleaning, window washing, mobile car detailing, these all kind of fit the same narrative. Now, I've been doing this for 12 years, traveled across 60 different countries, managed my business from rural Mongolia to the middle of here in Rwanda. And I've built the systems in a way for allow me to do this, but also allow our franchisees to do this. So if you want to learn all the systems, you don't want to figure it out yourself, you want it just to be installed in your business from day one, check out Made This Franchise. This is the reason we have 40 franchise locations across the US. People want to maybe not just travel the world, but just have more time to themselves, have a leaner operations, have more profit. And the only way to do that is set up in a way that can be done remotely. Utilize global talent to service your local operations. Utilize technology to drive down costs. Don't have the crazy overhead a lot of these old school business models have. So if you're interested, check in Made This Franchise. That's pretty much what we do exclusively.